it's not enough for people to know what you do. They must know why you do it. And it has to be explicit and clear and frequent. One of the most important jobs of the leader is to keep the vision in front of the team. And ironically, the more experienced the leader becomes, the less effective they are at putting the vision in front of the team, because they forget how important it is because it seems so fundamental to them. And because a lot of times the really successful leaders are really good at naturally seeing the vision. And so they assume everyone else does, and it's not true. Most people suck at vision. Most people are not good at seeing the big picture, and they're not good at breaking it down. And then what happens is the leader who is good at doing that, then takes for granted how important it is, and they assume everyone knows it, and so they stop doing it. And this is one of the simplest, most fundamental reasons why teams start to implode and they start to go backwards. It's because the leader isn't putting the vision in front of the team. This is something that you have to do over and over and over. It's like you should be almost sick of doing it. It should feel almost obnoxious to you how much you're doing it and talking about the vision, because this is what people need help with. They need the context of the big picture. And even though you might know it, they don't, and they forget it. And one of the most powerful exercises that we have ever done is something called the team mantra. So this is an exercise that actually I'm not going to have you do it now because you really can do this with your team. You could do it as a team, even with yourselves. But in our last business that we sold a couple years ago, we started in like 2006. And by the year 2009, we grew really fast to seven figures. But so we hit seven figures in our first year, but like 3 years later, we had really kind of stayed where we were. And I remember it was one of the newest people on our team in the middle of a team meeting that said, "What are we doing here? Like, what is the big picture? Like, why are we in this business? Like, what is the big picture that we're after? What are we trying to accomplish as a team?" And for me, it was another one of the most embarrassing moments in my career as a leader, realizing that this new person, his name was Joe, that Joe was like this new, young, hungry, ambitious person. And he had been with us for about 6 months, and he had no idea what the vision was. All he had been taught was a bunch of systems and processes and tactical steps and what to say and how to manage his day and like all of these details. And we had completely missed this core component of like translating the big picture. And to be honest, I didn't really know what the big picture was. The truth is, the reason it wasn't clear to everyone else is because it wasn't that clear to me. I hadn't actually sat down and mapped out what it was going to look like. And, there's kind of two parts of this. There's like the numbers part of it, which sometimes people do. And being a numbers person, I always kind of did a decent job of forecasting, like, oh, we want to do this revenue and have this many people. But then there's more of the principles part of it, of like, why are what is the purpose that this team exists? What are we doing? Why are we in this business? And so what happened was that day, we actually stopped what we were doing and we turned on a tape recorder and we asked the question, What are we doing? We asked all these questions. Why are we in this business? How will we know when we've been successful? What do we want people to know about the way that we do business that's different from everybody else? What are things we know to be true about how we're going to do business? What are things that we will never do? Who is it that we want to become? And we just asked all these questions, these open-ended questions to the team, and they dumped all of these answers out. And then we got them transcribed. And then after the transcription, we edited them down all to fit on one page. And then we started reading that page at the start of every single meeting. And from that year forward, so it took us for about 3 years, we had been stagnant. And for each of the next 3 years, we basically doubled every year. Now, was that the only reason? Probably not. But was it a huge reason? Absolutely. And not just did we double in terms of production, but the culture, the retention, the buy-in, the commitment, the intensity that people were working because they knew what they were working towards. And this is just such a simple and powerful exercise. So I'll just walk you through it quickly, and then I'll leave it with you for you to do with your team. But basically, you just ask, you get, some of your senior leaders together, and you just say, what's the goal? Like, what is the goal of our team? What do people think of when they think of us? How do we want our team to be remembered? What can people always count on us to do? What can people count on us to never do? Right? And you see the theme. All these questions are just kind of like things to get people talking that are meant to lead us towards a discovery of what are the principles, that we believe in and operate in, and what are things we don't allow to stand in our way? Why are we in this business? What is absolutely true about the way that we do business? What is different about doing business with us versus other people or other companies? What do we provide to the people who do business with us? How will we impact people who are not even our customers? That's a really great one. It's like the people who just interface with you, but they don't even buy. Like, how are we positively impacting those people? How will we know when we've made a job well done? And we just answer all of these questions. And what's so powerful about this is actually it's way better if you don't answer the questions. If you put these in front of your team, what's crazy is they'll come up with answers that are even better than the things that you would say, and they buy into it more because they came up with it and not you. And it is this rallying and unifying situation. I made a decision that I would never, ever again lead a company or a team where it wasn't crystal clear and painfully obvious to everybody why we are doing what we are doing. And that was so painful. And yet there are so many people in almost every organization. They have no idea. They know what the company does, right? Like, they know that we have, air fryers and stoneware, and like, they know what we do, but they're not connected explicitly to why we do it. It's not enough for people to know what you do. They must know why you do it. And it has to be explicit and clear and frequent. You almost cannot do this too much. People never get tired of reading it because it is the fabric of who we are and why we do it. And it's just like you never get tired of hearing how awesome you are. People never get tired of hearing about the mission and the purpose behind the organization and behind the team.